Close your eyes and imagine yourself descending beneath the ocean's surface. The water grows darker, enveloping you in deep, infinite blue. Slivers of light filter down like liquid silver, dancing across shapes that hint at structures long forgotten. A hush settles over the depths, and every movement of water feels like a heartbeat from another time, another world. Now, consider this. Somewhere beneath these waves, perhaps beyond where sunlight ever reaches, lies Atlantis, not a story, not a myth, but a civilization that may still exist. Its towers, temples, and streets could be resting in silence, untouched for millennia. What secrets lie hidden beneath the pressure of the deep, and what echoes of knowledge or memory linger in the currents around them? The ocean holds its breath, guarding answers we have only dared to imagine. Let your mind drift now, slowly and carefully, along this underwater path. Feel the calm of the ocean wrapping around you, guiding you deeper into the mystery. And if you wish to continue exploring these hidden worlds with me, follow the channel and let yourself be led through every secret corner of time and ocean. The ocean is not merely water, it is a veil of time. Every current that sweeps across the seafloor is a messenger of ages, carrying silt from one coast to another, scattering fragments of rock that may once have been carved by human hands. Imagine how, over 12,000 years, these currents have rewritten the floor of the sea like an endless pen, erasing some lines, blurring others, and yet perhaps preserving faint traces of patterns too precise to be nature's alone. To grasp the scale of this mystery, pause for a moment and consider the size of the ocean. More than 70% of Earth's surface is covered by it. Beneath the rolling waves lie chains of mountains, fields of volcanic glass, trenches so deep that light itself never touches their floors. And within this world, largely untouched and unexplored, how small is a single city, even a great one? Atlantis, if it exists, could rest silently at the base of a ridge, hidden under miles of salt water and stone, like a secret locked in a chest no one has yet found the key to open. And yet, the very impossibility of this search makes it wondrous. For when we gaze at the sea, we are gazing into a mirror of human memory itself. Just as we cannot see the seafloor from the surface, we cannot see the roots of our own past without diving beneath the layers of time. The legend of Atlantis lingers because it asks us to imagine what lies unseen, not just in the world, but in ourselves. Now picture the sheer scale of time since Plato first told the story. 2.5 millennia of human history have passed since he wrote of a mighty civilization swallowed by the sea. And if his story held a grain of truth, if it was based on events even older still, then Atlantis would have been ancient long before his words gave it immortality. Imagine the span of millennia, kingdoms rising and falling, empires leaving ruins upon the earth, while beneath the ocean floor, another city sleeps in darkness, unknown yet ever present, like a dream humanity cannot forget. The obstacle, of course, is not only time, but the ocean itself. Pressure grows immense with depth. At 1,000 meters below, every square inch of stone or steel is crushed by nearly 100 atmospheres of weight. No human lungs could bear it unaided. Even our machines strain against these forces, their metal hulls groaning as if the sea itself resents intrusion. Visibility is another enemy. Sunlight fades within the first few hundred meters, swallowed by darkness. To see deeper, we rely on artificial lamps, beams of pale white that pierce the blackness for only a few dozen meters, surrounded always by endless night. What chance, then, do we have of glimpsing Atlantis if it rests in such a place? And yet, pause again. The ocean is not empty. It is alive with whispers. Sonar signals bounce against hidden ridges. Magnetic anomalies confuse our instruments. Fishermen tell of nets torn by shapes that should not exist. Divers stumble upon blocks of stone that seem too regular, too perfect to be the work of waves alone. These fragments may be nothing, or they may be the faint breath of Atlantis itself, exhaling through the cracks of time, waiting for us to listen closely enough to hear. If you allow your imagination to follow, you might drift now into a vision. Great marble avenues, their edges softened by coral, pillars rising upward, encrusted with seashells, their capitals draped in swaying seaweed, statues tilted sideways, faces eroded by currents, yet still gazing proudly into the endless blue. Schools of fish weaving through windows, once framed by human hands, their scales catching the glow of light like shards of stained glass. In such a place, time does not end, it simply slows, becoming part of the rhythm of the sea. But the greatest obstacle remains. How do we distinguish myth from memory, imagination from evidence? This is the first and most immense wall that stands before any search for Atlantis. For in chasing this legend, we are not only diving into the ocean, we are diving into the uncertain depths of human storytelling. Plato himself may have invented the tale as allegory, or he may have recorded a distant echo of truth. To prove one or the other requires more than courage. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to face centuries of doubt. And so, at the heart of this first chapter of our journey, the question emerges: what if we are not meant to find Atlantis in the way we expect? What if the obstacle is not only the ocean's depth, but our own understanding of what discovery means? Pause with that thought and breathe slowly. Feel the current of time, the weight of mystery, and the calm of the deep surrounding you. Atlantis may remain hidden, yet the search itself is its own revelation. Imagine, for a moment, the ocean not only as a body of water, but as a mirror of the cosmos itself. Look upward on a clear night, and you see the stars scattered across an infinite blackness, each one shining with secrets from the past. Look downward into the depths of the sea, and you find the same darkness, infinite, pierced by points of bioluminescent light, creatures glowing like stars in the abyss. Above us and below us, the same mystery to infinities, reflecting one another, one of sky, one of water. If Atlantis exists, it rests not merely beneath the ocean, it rests within this reflection. A civilization submerged in a sea that resembles the heavens. As if humanity's forgotten story were written twice, once beneath the waves, Entire continents could hide beneath that curtain of blue, and we would not know. We have sent probes to Mars, rovers across the rocky plains of other worlds, satellites into the orbit of Jupiter and Saturn. And yet, here on Earth, in the very world we inhabit, vast realms remain uncharted. The paradox is striking. We gaze outward, but we have not finished looking inward. And within that paradox, Atlantis lingers. Perhaps that is why its legend will not fade, because it reminds us that we have not finished discovering our own home. It whispers that something astonishing could lie hidden not in the stars, but here, close, beneath our very feet. But the obstacle is immense, more immense than imagination alone can capture. Picture the crushing weight of 4,000 meters of water pressing down upon stone. Picture the currents that sweep ceaselessly, grinding away sharp edges, scattering sand across every surface. Picture earthquakes that shift the seabed, volcanoes that erupt in fire, only to be swallowed instantly by salt water, leaving mountains of hardened rock where once there was open sea. In such a place, even the grandest of cities might, in time, be unrecognizable. And yet, we cannot let go of the thought, because humans are pattern-seeking beings. We notice symmetry in rocks, and we wonder if they were once walls. We see squares where there should be only circles, and we think of plazas and streets. We hear legends that echo across continents, and we ask, are these coincidences, or are they faint ripples of the same forgotten memory? Pause once more. Let the ocean's rhythm slow your thoughts. The obstacle before you this veil of water, time, and silence is immense. But in facing it, we are invited into wonder. The immensity itself becomes the reason Atlantis matters. Because if a civilization so advanced, so radiant, could vanish into the ocean and remain unseen for thousands of years, then what else might still be hidden? What else waits just beyond the edge of our awareness? Perhaps, as you drift in this thought, you see it in your mind's eye. Atlantis, glowing faintly in the dark, its streets lit not by sunlight, but by the gentle shimmer of bioluminescent life. Coral archways swaying like gardens, statues coated in shimmering blue-green algae, a library of stone tablets, silent and unread, holding wisdom humanity has long forgotten. You cannot know if it is real, but in imagining it, you touch the very heart of the mystery, and so the first obstacle is revealed. Atlantis may exist, it may not. But if it does, the ocean has wrapped it in layers of protection deeper than mountains, darker than night, more eternal than sand. To pierce that veil is to attempt the impossible, and yet impossibility is the seed of wonder. Pause, drift, let the ocean hold you. Breathe in slowly and picture yourself suspended in the deep. The ocean is no longer water, alone it has become a weight, a silence, an entire world pressing gently but relentlessly around you. Somewhere within this darkness, Atlantis may rest. And yet, even if its walls still stand, the obstacle before us is nearly absolute. Think of time first. 12,000 years, or perhaps more. Imagine how much the world above has changed in that span. Forests rising and falling, rivers carving valleys deeper and wider, empires blossoming and vanishing into dust. Entire languages born, spoken, and forgotten. What chance, then, does a single city have of remaining visible beneath the ocean's restless hand? Every year, the sea reshapes its floor, scattering evidence like ash in the wind. Now, add to this the challenge of distance. Atlantis, if it lies beneath the waves, may rest miles below the surface. At those depths, darkness is complete. Light cannot guide us. Pressure is immense, so immense that the strongest steel bends, the sturdiest glass shatters, machines falter, human bodies cannot endure. To reach such places requires technology that is still, even now, in its infancy. And even if we reach them, what then? A spotlight may reveal only a fragment of stone, half buried, indistinguishable from the natural rock around it. Evidence is not only hidden, it is disguised. Consider also the vastness of the search. The Atlantic Ocean alone covers more than 40 million square miles. 40 million. To explore even a fraction of that space in detail would take centuries, even with the best machines. Imagine looking for a single grain of sand on a beach that stretches endlessly in both directions, its shorelines unbroken. That is the task we face. Pause with that thought. Let it sink into you. The obstacle is not just the ocean's depth, not just its pressure, not just its silence. It is scale beyond human measure. And yet, paradoxically, it is scale that draws us closer. For, in confronting immensity, we rediscover our own smallness. And within that smallness, wonder blooms. For perhaps Atlantis was never meant to be found as we imagine it. Perhaps it is not a city of shining marble waiting intact beneath the sea, but rather a mosaic of echoes. A story here, a ruin there, a myth carried across continents. To search for Atlantis may be less about uncovering stone walls and more about uncovering the hidden persistence of memory itself. Still, the human heart longs for proof. We wish to stand before ruins, to lay our hands on carved stone, to see with our own eyes that which has lingered in imagination for so long. And so, the search continues, scientists scanning ridges, divers exploring reefs, storytellers weaving fragments together into visions. The ocean resists, but curiosity is patient. Now imagine this, patience across generations. One explorer in ancient Greece dreams of Atlantis and dives into the Mediterranean, seeking ruins among the islands. Centuries later, a Spanish sailor charts strange shapes beneath Caribbean waters. Centuries after that, satellites scan the sea floor and capture patterns that raise questions, but no answers. Each generation adds its fragment, its attempt, its layer of searching. Atlantis becomes less a single discovery than a long, unfolding meditation on the mystery itself. And here lies the truth of the immense obstacle. Atlantis may remain hidden, not because it is unreachable, but because its essence is not a city alone. Its essence is the invitation to wonder. The obstacle keeps the mystery alive. If Atlantis were revealed fully, its stones catalogued, its streets mapped, the myth would dissolve into history. But as long as the ocean holds its secret, the legend breathes, and humanity continues to dream. Pause once more. Picture yourself rising slowly now, drifting upward through the blue, the light returning faintly above you. Behind you, below you, the ocean remains endless, still guarding what it has guarded for millennia. Perhaps Atlantis waits there. Perhaps not. But either way, the immensity of the obstacle has already transformed you. For to consider it is to feel the vastness of time, the power of nature, and the humility of our place within both. And so, as this first chapter closes, let the thought rest gently. Atlantis may lie beneath the waves, hidden by obstacles so immense we may never reach it. But in the act of imagining, of wondering, of letting the current of curiosity carry us, we have already touched its shores. Imagine, for a moment, that you are not just a listener drifting into sleep, but also an investigator of mysteries, someone equipped not with magnifying glasses and fingerprint powder, but with patience, curiosity, and the quiet willingness to listen to what the world whispers beneath the surface. If Atlantis truly existed, then its presence would not vanish without leaving behind some kind of echo. Every civilization, whether mighty or modest, leaves fingerprints, tools abandoned in soil, walls dissolved into sand, or stories carried in the rhythm of human voices from one generation to the next. To hunt for Atlantis is not simply to search for stone ruins. Hidden beneath the sit is to chase after echoes, faint traces that reverberate across time. Our hunt begins in the silence of the ocean floor. Vast plains of silt stretch outward in directions beyond imagination, their landscapes shaped not by human hands, but by tectonic shifts and currents that never rest. Down there, at depths where light cannot survive, lie countless mysteries still untouched by divers or machines. Scientists send down submersibles equipped with cameras and robotic arms, scanning for anomalous straight lines where nature prefers curves, symmetrical patterns where chaos should reign. In these patterns, one might hope to find the fingerprints of a vanished city. Yet the ocean is not generous with its secrets. It erases, reshapes, buries. A marble column toppled into the waves 2,000 years ago may now be indistinguishable from a coral-encrusted rock. A roadway laid in geometric precision may appear after centuries of sediment as nothing more than ridges in the seabed. Still, those who seek Atlantis look closely. They are like forensic examiners, not of crime scenes, but of time itself. But the hunt does not stop at the seabed. It stretches upward into myths, stories, to leave echoes, though they are softer and harder to measure than stone. Why did so many cultures, Greek, Egyptian, Mesopotamian, even indigenous peoples, far from the Mediterranean speak of great floods, of drowned lands, of civilizations swallowed by water? Could it be that these were independent inventions, the universal fear of water's power? Or could it be, perhaps, that they are fragmented memories of a catastrophe that really occurred? Like shards of pottery scattered across an archaeological site, each myth may carry a sliver of the truth. When pieced together, they may form an image, blurred and incomplete, yet still recognizable. Think of it this way. If you heard a melody hummed by many people across the world, each singing it slightly differently, you might begin to suspect that there was once a single song. The hunt for Atlantis often feels like that. Archaeologists and historians listen to myths like investigators listening to multiple witnesses. Some exaggerate, some forget, some imagine details, but through the noise, a pattern emerges. Then there are the maps, those curious windows into how earlier civilizations understood the shape of their world. Some ancient maps depict continents and coastlines that do not quite align with modern geography. Scholars puzzle over them, wondering whether these inaccuracies are mere mistakes or reflections of lands that truly existed but have since vanished. The Piri race map of the 16th century, for example, has stirred speculation because its southernmost sections seem to show a landmass resembling Antarctica before Antarctica was formally discovered. Could cartographers of old have recorded fragments of coastlines now buried under ice or sea? And if so, where did they obtain this knowledge? Might it trace back, in some distant lineage, to Atlantis? Even language itself may hold clues. Some linguists search for unexpected connections between far-flung tongues, similarities in words or grammar that cannot easily be explained. If a word for water in one culture faintly echoes the word for sea in another, perhaps separated by continents, is it coincidence? Or is it a trace, a fossilized whisper of an ancient mother tongue that once united them all? Could Atlantis have been a hub where languages mingled, later dispersing like seeds scattered by the wind? But perhaps the most compelling echoes are geological. The Earth remembers, though not in words, in ice cores, in rock strata, in layers of volcanic ash. Scientists read records of ancient catastrophes. Around 12,000 years, gruffly the time, Plato dated the fall of Atlantis. There was indeed a period of dramatic climate upheaval. Temperatures shifted suddenly, glaciers melted, seas rose with terrifying speed. Entire landscapes were drowned, and coastal peoples must have fled inland, carrying their stories with them. For some, these became tales of gods punishing humankind with a flood. For others, they became myths of lost golden ages swallowed by the ocean. Could one of these stories have been Atlantis, a memory refracted through time? The forensic hunt is therefore not confined to one discipline. It is not only archaeologists, nor only geologists, nor only linguists who search for Atlantis. It is a mosaic of seekers each, adding a piece of evidence, however small, to a puzzle that may never be solved. What unites them is the belief that echoes matter. A single stone carved in unnatural symmetry at the bottom of the sea may be dismissed as coincidence, but combined with a myth, with a map, with a word, with a sudden geological shift, the coincidences multiply until they begin to resemble intention. In this way, the search for Atlantis becomes less about proving a city as existence and more about sharpening our awareness of how civilizations leave traces, how history never truly disappears, but lingers, waiting for attentive minds to notice. Even if Atlantis never existed, as Plato described, the hunt for it teaches us to read the world more carefully. to look at rocks not just as rocks, but as possible ruins, to listen to myths not just as fantasies, but as encoded memories, to treat the earth not just as ground beneath our feet, but as a library where time has written its chronicles in stone and water. As you drift deeper into this journey, let yourself imagine being one of these forensic dreamers. Picture yourself descending in a small submarine, lights cutting through the abyssal dark, searching for the faint geometry of walls or roads. Imagine yourself at a desk by candlelight, comparing fragments of maps, circling coastlines that no longer exist. Envision yourself listening to the voices of storytellers across cultures, catching the moment when their songs align. You are part of the hunt now, following the faintest of echoes. And just as in dreams, the hunt does not require an answer. It requires only attention. Atlantis may or may not be real, but the echoes are undeniably here, scattered across ocean floors, myths, maps, languages, and rocks. They call to us, softly but persistently, like waves lapping against a forgotten shore. Imagine now that our search carries us not only into imagination, but into real places where echoes of Atlantis may linger. Consider the Bimini Road, a mysterious underwater formation off the coast of the Bahamas, stretching beneath the turquoise shallows. It is composed of long, flat limestone blocks, aligned in a way that seems deliberate, almost architectural. To some, these stones are simply natural formations, a result of erosion and sedimentation. To others, they are a fragment of something lost, a silent road leading to a civilization submerged by time and tide. Close your eyes and envision it. Blocks arranged in linear precision, fish darting through the gaps, the sunlight above refracting like a prism, casting ephemeral patterns on the stones. And then there is Santorini, the volcanic island in the Aegean Sea. Here, the catastrophic eruption of Thera, around 3,600 years ago, submerged an entire Minoan civilization beneath ash and pumice. Archaeologists unearth streets, houses, frescoes, and artifacts, piecing together the lives of those lost. While Santorini may not be Atlantis, it is a haunting echo of what Plato described, a flourishing society undone by natural forces, buried, preserved in silence, and rediscovered only through painstaking study. Picture the whitewashed streets, now encased in layers of volcanic sediment, the delicate patterns of frescoes still visible, telling stories of gods, humans, and the rhythm of daily life long vanished. Consider Doggerland, the sunken plain that once connected Great Britain to mainland Europe. Slowly swallowed by rising seas at the end of the last ice age, it is now beneath the North Sea, its rivers and hills hidden under thousands of feet of water. Archaeologists study sediments and recovered artifacts, bones, tools, remnants of life that hint at an entire world erased by oceans. Doggerland reminds us how landscapes familiar to humans can vanish entirely, leaving only whispers of memory. Atlantis, if it existed, could have met a similar fate, a fertile land, a thriving civilization, now submerged and silent, leaving only traces for the attentive seeker to detect. And then there are patterns in the seabed revealed by modern sonar technology. Scientists mapping the ocean floor occasionally discover anomalies, geometric ridges, linear formations, unusual depressions that resist immediate explanation. Some may be natural, sculpted by currents, tectonics, or sediment shifts. Others remain unexplained, hinting at the possibility of structures crafted by intelligent hands. Imagine watching a sonar display in a dimly lit lab, the screen flickering with echoes and shadows, tracing lines that may be streets, walls, or foundations. Each signal is a clue, a fragment of a puzzle, a whisper from the past. Yet, the hunt for Atlantis is never merely about physical evidence. Cultural echoes are equally compelling. Across the world, myths of great floods, sunken cities, and lost knowledge recur with remarkable similarity. From the flood stories of Mesopotamia to the tale of the lost land of Kumari Kandam in South India, from the Aztec legends of Talocan to the Aboriginal stories of sunken coasts, there is a persistent motif. Humanity remembers the ocean's capacity to take and transform. These echoes, recorded in song and story, function as intangible evidence, a map of collective memory pointing toward something lost beneath the waves. Pause now and let these images form in your mind. Drift among these sights, the blocks of Bimini Road, the ash-covered streets of Santorini, the submerged valleys of Doggerland. Hear the faint resonances of stories carried through centuries. Notice the traces etched into stone and sediment, and sense the patterns connecting them. You are not searching alone. You are guided by the echoes of countless generations who looked, wondered, and remembered. Imagine also the symbolic echoes, the motifs carved into ruins, repeated in temples and artifacts, geometric forms, circular patterns, depictions of sea creatures, waves, or boats. Are these ornamental, or do they encode knowledge? Could they be reminders of an advanced civilization, a culture that revered the sea because it shaped their very existence? Perhaps the architecture of Atlantis, if it survives at all, communicated through proportion and pattern, a silent language embedded in stone, waiting for someone who sees, not only with eyes, but with understanding. The forensic hunt is as much about perception as it is about discovery. The ocean, after all, does not simply reveal its secrets to those who demand proof. It responds to those who are patient, who notice subtle patterns, who accept that the truth may be partial, veiled, and whispered rather than shouted. A single stone aligned differently, a myth retold in distant lands, a sonar blip in the darkness. These are the echoes we follow, and the pursuit itself becomes a meditation, an exercise in attentiveness, in calm curiosity, in gentle exploration of what is unknown. As you drift further into this thought, imagine yourself piecing together these fragments. One moment, a diver uncovers a stone slab encrusted with coral. Another moment, a historian reads a map that suggests a landmass now lost beneath waves. You notice the rhythm. Evidence appears, disappears, aligns, misaligns. You begin to understand that Atlantis is not merely a place, it is a process, a thread connecting myth, geology, archaeology, and human imagination across millennia. And in that understanding, there is a profound calm. for the search itself, the following of echoes is not urgent. There is no need to prove, only to perceive. The ocean holds its mysteries like a patient teacher, revealing lessons slowly in increments. To follow the echoes of Atlantis is to align your own rhythm with that of the deep, to move with the tides of time, story, and memory, and let the questions linger, soft and persistent, like light filtering through water. Imagine the ocean floor as a vast canvas painted by both nature and time. Now, consider that within this canvas may lie the faint brushstrokes of human intention, lines too precise to be random, shapes too symmetrical to be entirely natural. Each discovery, each fragment, each whisper from history is like a single note in a symphony too immense to hear in its entirety. Our task is to listen closely, to discern a pattern of fingerprint, subtle yet persistent, that suggests something more than coincidence. Start with the physical traces. Archaeologists have uncovered submerged structures in unexpected places. Off the coast of Japan, stone formations suggest human placement. In the Mediterranean, remnants of walls and roads hint at settlements swallowed by rising seas. These sites, often disputed and debated, are fragments of a puzzle whose full picture we may never see. Imagine standing above one of these structures in a small submersible, lights sweeping across encrusted stone, coral draping the edges like ancient tapestries. You sense the deliberate geometry, the echo of minds long vanished, and you begin to feel the presence of civilization in a world that seems entirely natural. Now, layer in the geological signatures, changes in sea level, evidence of catastrophic floods, and tectonic shifts all provide a timeline of environmental upheaval. Ice cores reveal rapid temperature changes. Sediment layers record sudden inundations. When these events align with the legends passed down across cultures, they form a pattern that is more than the sum of its parts. Consider it a code written by Earth itself, whispering the story of a world reshaped by water and time. The oceans are both the library and the librarian, preserving secrets while testing our patience. Cultural and mythological traces add another layer. Across continents, stories repeat with uncanny similarity. A mighty civilization lost to water, advanced knowledge buried, the hubris of humanity punished by the sea. These myths, while varied in detail, share a thematic resonance. When aligned with geological and archaeological clues, they contribute to the faint fingerprint of Atlantis. Each myth becomes a vector pointing toward hidden truths, fragments of memory encoded in narrative, waiting for those attentive enough to notice the rhythm of recurrence. Pause here and imagine tracing these threads. Visualize a map layered with multiple signals, sonar lines crossing ancient seabeds, submerged walls revealed by divers, flood legends echoing through millennia. See the web forming a network of subtle clues that, taken together, hint at something extraordinary. The fingerprint is not a single artifact, but a symphony of coincidences that, when listened to carefully, becomes music. Consider the ways in which these echoes interact. A submerged wall may correspond to a map drawn centuries ago. A myth may describe a coastline that aligns with a tectonic shift uncovered in sediment layers. An unexplained stone formation may reflect the geometric patterns found in ruins on land. Each connection strengthens the suggestion that a pattern exists, even if we cannot yet see the full city. Like stars in the night sky, each point is distant, faint, and isolated, but together they form constellations. And in those constellations, Atlantis may appear, if only as a shape formed by attention, imagination, and patience. The fingerprint of Atlantis is, above all, an invitation to perception. It asks us to notice what is small, fleeting, and easily overlooked. It is a meditation on discovery, a practice in attentiveness, a journey that spans disciplines, continents, and millennia. To follow the echoes is to embrace the process itself, to move through uncertainty with calm curiosity, and to allow the ocean's rhythms to guide you. Imagine, as you drift in this meditative state, following the faint lines of the fingerprint. Sonar blips form a path. Maps and myths suggest directions. Archaeological fragments shimmer like clues beneath a moonlit surface. These are not proof in the empirical sense, but they are signs, fingerprints, echoes of a civilization whose traces may be scattered across space and time. And in following these traces, we participate in a quiet dance of observation and imagination, merging intellect with wonder. Pause now and feel the weight of time. Thousands of years have passed since Plato first wrote of Atlantis. Thousands more since the end of the last ice age, when seas rose and swallowed lands once inhabited. Generations of humans have looked for signs, each adding a layer of awareness, speculation, and interpretation. We stand on the shoulders of centuries of curiosity, seeing what our predecessors glimpsed, interpreting what they hinted at, imagining what remains unseen. The fingerprint is composed of many layers. 1. Physical echoes, walls, roads, foundations, artifacts submerged and preserved by water and sediment. 2. Geological echoes, shifts in sea level, sediment layers, volcanic eruptions, ice core evidence of climate upheaval. 3. Cultural echoes, myths, stories, flood narratives, songs, and traditions passed down across continents and generations. 4. Symbolic echoes, patterns, motifs, architectural proportions, inscriptions, and iconography suggesting advanced knowledge or reverence for the sea. Each layer interacts with the others like threads in a tapestry. Alone, a single thread is fragile. Together, they reveal glimpses of form, even if incomplete, even if mysterious. And it is this multi-layered harmony that draws us deeper into the meditative pursuit of Atlantis. Now imagine yourself tracing one of these threads in detail. Perhaps a submerged wall off the coast of an island, encrusted with coral, still holding the geometry of human design, or a story told in a distant land that echoes the description of a vanished city. As you follow the line, you feel the rhythm of centuries passing, of water and wind reshaping coastlines, of memory traveling from mind to mind across oceans. Every step, every observation, every pause becomes part of a slow, deliberate meditation on discovery. Breathe slowly and notice the calm that arises from this rhythm. The ocean, the myths, the maps, the stone, they are teachers in patience. They remind us that the act of seeking, more than the act of finding, contains the essence of wonder. Atlantis may exist or may not, yet the echoes themselves are enough to guide us, to fill the mind with images, to carry the imagination gently forward, like a submersible gliding through the quiet, darkened waters. In this way, the forensic hunt becomes a practice in mindful observation. It teaches us to notice subtle patterns, to connect disparate pieces of information, and to appreciate that truth may reside not only in what is discovered, but also in the act of careful, contemplative searching. The ocean does not rush. It does not demand answers. It responds to the seeker with patience, offering fragments, clues, and possibilities that only become clear to the attentive mind. As you drift further into this meditation, picture the fingerprint in its entirety, an invisible network linking the seabed, the myths, the geological shifts, the symbolic traces. It is not a map you can hold in your hands, nor a structure you can visit. As you drift gently through thought, let the focus shift from echoes and imagination to the grounding, meticulous world of science. Consider the ocean itself not merely as a stage for legend, but as a dynamic, living archive of Earth's history. The depths hold records of tectonic shifts, volcanic eruptions, and rising seas. Plate tectonics, the slow but unstoppable movement of continents, has sculpted coastlines, reshaped oceans, and, over millennia, swallowed or razed lands once familiar to humans. Each detail may appear insignificant alone, but together they form a timeline of natural and human events, grounding speculation in measurable reality. Historical accounts also anchor Atlantis in a tangible context. Plato, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, provides the most famous descriptions of a lost civilization, a society advanced in architecture, culture, and engineering, existing thousands of years before his time. Scholars debate whether Plato intended these accounts as literal history or allegory. Yet even if allegorical, they provide insight into the human imagination, reflecting ideals, fears, and cultural memory. History, like the ocean, carries layers of truth, some literal, some metaphorical, all instructive. Scientific expeditions contribute additional perspective. Explorers in the Mediterranean, the Caribbean, and beyond have discovered submerged structures, artifacts, and unusual formations. In Santorini, excavations reveal evidence of a thriving Bronze Age civilization devastated by volcanic eruption. In the Caribbean, limestone formations off Bimini hint at geometry that provokes questions. Geologists studying these formations consider tectonic activity, erosion, and sediment displacement. Each piece of evidence, whether conclusive or ambiguous, participates in a dialogue between imagination and reality. Pause once more and let the principles of geology and oceanography settle in your mind. Picture the slow movement of continents over eons, the shifting ocean floor, and the rising tides that have reshaped coastlines countless times. By comparing geological data with historical texts, and oral traditions, researchers attempt to correlate evidence of environmental upheaval with accounts of human experience. Pause and imagine yourself at a laboratory desk, reviewing maps, sediment data, and historical texts. The patterns begin to coalesce. A sudden rise in sea level corresponds to myths of submersion. An unusual sediment layer aligns with the volcanic eruption described in distant chronicles. A geometric stone formation resonates with Plato's description of walls and streets. In doing so, we create a meditation not only on a lost city, but on the methods by which humans seek understanding. And as you drift through these thoughts, feel the calm certainty of measured exploration. Atlantis may remain hidden beneath kilometers of water, its ruins possibly scattered or dissolved. Yet the science, the geology, oceanography, archaeology, and history anchors the possibility, transforming speculation into contemplative study. You are not seeking mere proof. You are participating in a continuum of curiosity that stretches across centuries and disciplines. Breathe slowly and let this anchor settle. The ocean holds memory. The earth records its past, and human inquiry continues patiently, gently, without rush. Atlantis may be real, it may be imagined, or it may exist somewhere in between, but the act of grounding legend in reality becomes, itself, a form of meditation, a path toward calm understanding, and a reminder of our place within the vast, moving, enduring world. Imagine now the calm of a research vessel cutting through the ocean, sunlight scattering across the water, as scientists prepare to descend into the unknown. Each expedition carries not only instruments and technology, but also centuries of human curiosity, a lineage of minds eager to understand what lies beneath the waves. These explorers do not rush. Their movements are deliberate, measured, attuned to the rhythms of the ocean. Consider the submersibles that glide into abyssal depths, equipped with sonar scanners, cameras, and robotic arms. They move slowly, meticulously mapping the seafloor. Occasionally, anomalies appear, formations that defy immediate explanation, stones arranged in curious linearity, terraces that resemble walls. Scientists pause, observing the formations with patience and care, aware that nature can produce patterns as easily as humans. Yet the mind cannot ignore the possibility of deliberate construction. In this suspension between certainty and imagination, meditation and investigation converge. Think of notable researchers who have devoted years to these inquiries. Figures like Dr. Heinrich Schliemann, who uncovered Troy, remind us that patience, intuition, and persistent observation can reveal what seems impossible. Though Atlantis is more elusive than Troy, the principle remains. Meticulous, sustained attention may uncover subtle traces of civilizations long hidden. Each artifact, each layer of sediment, each sonar anomaly contributes a brushstroke to a broader, ongoing portrait. Pause and imagine yourself beside these explorers, sharing their patience. Visualize the meticulous scanning of the seabed, the cataloging of every stone, fossil, and artifact. Notice the slow unfolding of patterns. A stone wall emerges, partially buried, A series of depressions align with what could have been streets. Sonar readings hint at terraces beneath sand and silt. Each observation is provisional, delicate, a whisper from the past. Consider also the debates that ripple through the scientific community. Some scholars argue that Bimini Road is purely natural. Others see human design. Some researchers find ancient flood layers compelling. Others see ordinary sedimentation. These discussions are not arguments for contention, but a meditation on uncertainty, a recognition that the search for Atlantis is as much about interpretation as it is about discovery. And in this space of contemplation, curiosity deepens rather than diminishes. Historical accounts continue to anchor the discussion. Plato's dialogues describe not only architecture but culture, a society governed by wisdom, engineering, and devotion. Researchers compare these descriptions to archaeological sites, Santorini, Crete, and submerged settlements in the Mediterranean and Caribbean. While no definitive match exists, the parallels evoke possibility, inviting reflection on how natural catastrophes can erase entire civilizations. Imagine, too, the tools and methods employed by modern science: radiocarbon dating, seismic surveys, sediment analysis, underwater photography. Each tool allows a slow unveiling of history. Layers of silt and coral preserve evidence yet conceal it. Technology extends human perception, allowing us to observe traces too faint for the eye alone. Yet, even with these advances, the ocean's patience exceeds ours. Time is measured in millennia, and the process of discovery unfolds in increments, echoing the quiet, deliberate cadence of meditation. Pause again and sense the rhythm of investigation. The sea communicates in subtlety, in the sediment patterns, the distribution of ruins, the layering of myths. Every expedition, every report, every observation becomes part of a tapestry, slowly forming an understanding that is never complete but deeply instructive. The act of seeking, of observing, of measuring becomes a meditation, a mindful engagement with history, geology, and human imagination. Pause and visualize the debates. One scientist suggests that Bimini Road is natural limestone, shaped by currents over millennia. Another points to its unusual straight edges and alignment as potential proof of human intervention. A historian notes that Plato's descriptions do not perfectly match any known site, yet they resonate with memory of catastrophic floods. In listening to these debates, we perceive the discipline of science as a meditation, a careful, deliberate engagement with possibility rather than a demand for immediate resolution. Consider also the technological lens. Modern instruments allow us to detect anomalies invisible to the naked eye. Sub-bottom profilers reveal layers beneath the seabed. Sonar scans outline terraces and ridges, and satellite imagery hints at submerged structures. Each tool is an extension of perception, allowing us to sense the unseen. Yet the ocean responds slowly, revealing its secrets incrementally. Patience becomes the guiding principle, reminding us that discovery is a process, not a single moment. Pause again and let the rhythm of scientific exploration settle. Atlantis, if real, may exist in fragments scattered by millennia of geological change. Its architecture may be buried, eroded, or dissolved. Its stories may survive in myth, memory, and symbolic echoes. The balance between evidence and imagination teaches us a profound lesson. The universe does not reveal its truths in haste, but offers clues patiently to those willing to observe and contemplate. Now, imagine the minds engaged in this pursuit. Researchers pore over sediment cores, divers catalog submerged stones, historians trace mythological parallels across continents. Each contributes a layer of understanding, a brushstroke in a painting too vast for any one individual to complete. The cumulative effort forms a meditation on human curiosity, a gentle journey through time, space, and possibility. Think of the lessons imparted by plausibility itself. Atlantis may be physically real, partially submerged, or entirely symbolic. Yet even as possibility fluctuates, the inquiry shapes our perception. It teaches us humility before nature's scale, patience with uncertainty, and reverence for the persistence of memory. The legend becomes not only a story of a lost city, but a mirror reflecting the limits and capabilities of human understanding. Breathe deeply and imagine the quiet of underwater exploration. The submersible moves slowly over terraces. Sediment swirls gently in the currents, and light filters down from the surface in calm, ethereal beams. Each moment is an invitation to mindfulness, to attunement with the rhythms of the ocean and history alike. Even in uncertainty, there is calm. Even in mystery, there is structure, pattern, and quiet beauty. Finally, reflect on the philosophical dimension. Science does not merely anchor legend in reality. It elevates the pursuit of understanding into a meditation on human curiosity itself. Atlantis becomes a symbol of exploration, of attentiveness, of the balance between imagination and empirical inquiry. The ocean, the myths, and the sediments form a dialogue across millennia, inviting us to listen, to observe, and to dwell within mystery without haste or expectation. And as you drift in this reflective space, feel a gentle connection with the generations of thinkers and explorers who have sought patiently and reverently the traces of Atlantis. Whether the city exists or remains legend, the search itself is a practice in patience, wonder, and mindful observation. You are part of this continuum, attuned to echoes, patterns, and possibilities that stretch across time, space, and imagination. As you drift gently through the currents of thought, let us pause to integrate all the strands of knowledge we have explored. The ocean, with its immense depths and shifting tides, teaches us patience. The geological layers remind us of time, measured not in days or years, but in millennia. Myths and historical accounts reveal the human need to remember, interpret, and imagine. Together, they create a mosaic, a meditation on possibility, grounded in reality, yet open to wonder. Picture, once more, a map of the submerged world. Sonar scans trace ridges and terraces. Sediment core reveal ancient floods. Myths whisper across continents of lands lost to the sea. Each layer informs the other. Geology interprets myth, myth guides inquiry, and archaeology illuminates both. Science does not demand certainty. It invites contemplation, and in this invitation, the mind slows, attention deepens, and curiosity becomes a gentle current carrying thought across time and space. Consider the researchers and explorers once more. Their work is deliberate, careful, and respectful. They navigate the ocean not as conquerors, but as witnesses, attuned to subtle patterns in stone, sediment, and story. Their discoveries may be partial, ambiguous, or disputed, yet each contributes to a collective understanding, a meditation in observation, interpretation, and patience. Their persistence reminds us that knowledge unfolds gradually, layer by layer, like sediment slowly settling to the ocean floor. Pause and reflect on the balance between possibility and probability. Atlantis, if it exists, may be fragmented, partially hidden, or entirely symbolic. Yet the act of inquiry itself is meaningful. Observing submerged structures, interpreting flood legends, analyzing tectonic shifts, all these actions deepen awareness, sharpen perception, and cultivate calm, reflective curiosity. The journey is not merely to discover Atlantis, but to practice mindfulness, patience, and reverence for the unknown. Imagine now a timeline stretching across millennia. Civilizations rise and fall, seas rise and reshape coastlines. Myths are born and transmitted, discoveries are made and debated. In this vast flow of time, Atlantis, whether real, imagined, or somewhere between, serves as a focal point, a meditation on impermanence, human ingenuity, and the persistence of memory. The city becomes a mirror, reflecting both our curiosity and our humility, an invitation to dwell in wonder without urgency. Let your thoughts drift over the ocean's surface and into its depths. Visualize layers of evidence interacting, terraces aligning with descriptions, sediment layers corresponding to floods, myths echoing lost geographies. Each connection is subtle, delicate, and partial, yet together they form a rhythm, a pattern, a fingerprint that invites exploration. The act of following this pattern is itself a meditation, cultivating calm and thoughtful engagement with both mystery and reality. Now, consider the philosophical implications. Atlantis represents the human desire to know, to imagine, and to connect with the vast, hidden world beneath our feet. Science anchors this desire in reality, offering methods and measurements, yet it cannot eliminate the wonder that comes from mystery. In embracing both, we practice a gentle balance, attentive observation, measured reasoning, and open-ended curiosity. The legend of Atlantis thus becomes a metaphor for inquiry itself, practice in patience, mindfulness, and reverence for the unknown. Pause and breathe deeply. Let the currents of reflection carry you through the interplay of evidence, imagination, and philosophy. Atlantis may remain hidden, its ruins submerged or dissolved, its stories mythologized. Yet in this very uncertainty lies a form of meditation, a rhythm of curiosity and calm, of observation and contemplation, of science and wonder moving together in harmony. Finally, sense the transition that lies ahead. We have anchored Atlantis in reality, explored evidence, listened to myths, and reflected on plausibility. The next step is to rise from the depths and move into philosophical reflection, the gentle landing, where imagination and intellect converge, and where the story begins to guide the mind toward rest and sleep. Here, the mysteries of Atlantis become a meditation not only on the ocean, but on the human condition, our fleeting time, our curiosity, and our place within the vast cosmos. Now, allow your mind to drift gently above the ocean, rising from the depths we have explored. Take a slow breath and feel the calm of having journeyed through time, myth, and discovery. Atlantis, whether real or imagined, has carried us through centuries of human curiosity, across ocean floors and layers of sediment, through stories passed down in whispers and texts. Pause and visualize the journey as a river of time flowing beneath you. At its source lie myths and ancient accounts, shimmering like sunlight on shallow waters. Along its course, explorers and researchers have added their instruments, observations, and insights drops, joining the current, subtle yet persistent. The river widens, connecting imagination with evidence, legend with scientific inquiry. And now, at this gentle height, you can see the tapestry of discovery in its entirety. Echoes, fingerprints, and patterns intertwining in a meditation on possibility. Consider the lessons of this journey. Atlantis teaches patience. The ocean does not rush. The sediments do not hurry. The stories unfold slowly. It teaches humility. We stand as observers, witnesses to processes that span millennia, aware that certainty may never arrive. It teaches wonder. Each anomaly, each myth, each trace of civilization is a reminder that the universe contains mysteries beyond our grasp. Imagine the city itself in your mind's eye, not as a precise reconstruction, but as a meditation. Its streets, terraces, and temples are glimpsed through layers of sediment and memory. Coral and marine life have claimed its walls. Sunlight filters through water, casting ethereal patterns across the ruins. This vision is imperfect, fragmentary, and yet profoundly moving. The imperfection invites reflection. Beauty lies not in clarity alone, but in suggestion, in the space between what is seen and what is imagined. Pause once more and feel the rhythm of thought slowing. Consider that this journey has mirrored the search for Atlantis itself, deliberate, attentive, and patient. Each observation, each reflection, each breath has been part of a meditation, cultivating awareness and calm. Atlantis becomes not only a city beneath the waves, but a vehicle for inner exploration, guide to contemplation, curiosity, and serenity. Now expand this reflection to the human condition. Atlantis is a mirror, revealing our desire to understand, to remember, and to imagine. Civilizations rise and fall, coastlines change, myths are born and transmitted. We, like explorers and scholars, navigate the currents of history, seeking patterns, seeking meaning, seeking connection with what is gone or hidden. In this pursuit, we engage deeply with our own curiosity, and in doing so, with the vastness of time itself. Imagine the slow dance of currents and continents over millennia, shaping coasts, erasing cities, and leaving traces for those patient enough to notice. Visualize human imagination as a gentle light, illuminating fragments, connecting dots, tracing patterns in the shadows. Atlantis exists both in possibility and in the meditation on the interplay of fact, speculation, and the human spirit. Breathe slowly and let the senses absorb this reflection. Feel the calm of vast oceans, the quiet of underwater ruins, the gentle tension between mystery and knowledge. Notice how imagination, guided by evidence, cultivates a state of relaxed awareness, allowing thought to flow without urgency. This is the essence of the gentle landing, the integration of wonder and understanding, curiosity and calm. Finally, sense the transition toward rest. The ocean's depths recede, leaving a tranquil surface. The fingerprints of Atlantis remain faint but persistent, encouraging observation without insistence, reflection without expectation. The mind, having explored myth, science, and philosophy, now drifts into gentle contemplation. Each breath becomes a wave, each thought a ripple, carrying the consciousness slowly toward calm and eventual sleep. As you float gently above the imagined ruins of Atlantis, allow your mind to expand beyond the ocean, beyond history, into the cosmos itself. Consider the vastness of time, the immensity of space, and the fleeting nature of human existence within it. Atlantis, whether real or symbolic, is a reflection of this perspective, a whisper from the deep, reminding us of our smallness and our curiosity, our desire to explore and understand what lies beyond our immediate perception. Pause and feel the calm that arises from this awareness. The stars above, the ocean below, the sediments beneath the waves, they are all layers of reality that move slowly, patiently, indifferent to human urgency. And yet, within this vastness, the human mind seeks patterns, stories, and meaning. The legend of Atlantis exemplifies this impulse. A civilization lost yet remembered, a mystery that invites reflection rather than resolution, curiosity rather than certainty. Imagine yourself as both observer and participant in this cosmic meditation. Every myth, every sonar scan, every sediment layer becomes part of a rhythm, a gentle cadence that carries consciousness across time and space. Consider the echo of civilizations rising and falling, coastlines shifting, stories being passed down through generations. Each echo is an invitation to mindfulness, an opportunity to dwell in the present while contemplating the deep past. Reflect also on the human condition itself. We are seekers, explorers of knowledge and imagination. We build, we destroy, we remember, and we forget. Atlantis symbolizes this continuum, the desire to create, the inevitability of change, and the persistence of memory across centuries. In contemplating Atlantis, we contemplate ourselves, our ingenuity, our impermanence, our capacity for wonder. Pause and breathe deeply. Feel the slow rhythm of thought aligning with the pulse of the ocean and the measured passage of geological time. The mind, having absorbed stories, evidence, and speculation, now moves into a state of reflective calm. Atlantis, with all its mystery, becomes not a destination, but a meditation, an exercise in patience, curiosity, and mindful attention. Now, expand this reflection to the cosmos. Imagine the Earth as a small, fragile sphere suspended in the vast darkness of space. Civilizations arise, flourish, and fade, leaving subtle traces, just as Atlantis may have. Stars explode, planets shift, and time continues its relentless flow. In this context, the search for Atlantis is a microcosm of human inquiry, the attempt to understand, to locate patterns, and to connect with the reality that is both tangible and elusive. Consider the interplay between curiosity and humility. Science and exploration provide methods, measurements, and observations. Imagination and myth provide wonder, narrative, and meaning. Both are necessary. Without imagination, evidence is cold and lifeless. Without evidence, imagination may drift untethered. Atlantis teaches us to balance these forces, to pursue knowledge with respect and mystery with mindfulness. Pause again and let your awareness settle on the rhythm of this balance. The ocean, the sediments, the myths, and the stars form a chorus of gentle guidance. Each discovery, each reflection, each breath contributes to a state of calm attentiveness. In this space, curiosity is not a restless drive, but a serene companion, guiding thought without urgency, encouraging wonder without expectation. Now, visualize the city of Atlantis once more, not as a definitive place, but as a meditation on possibility. Its streets, terraces, and structures appear and dissolve, interwoven with myths, legends, and scientific inquiry. Coral and marine life transform its architecture. Sunlight filters through the waves in ethereal patterns, and sediment layers whisper stories of time's passage. This vision, imperfect and transient, invites the mind to settle into quiet reflection, embracing both what is known and what remains unknowable. Finally, prepare for the gentle landing. The reflections on Atlantis, the human pursuit of knowledge, and the vastness of the cosmos coalesce into a sense of peace. The mind drifts slowly, like a submersible rising toward the ocean's surface, guided by curiosity, understanding, and the gentle rhythm of thought. Each breath carries serenity, each moment fosters calm, and the story of Atlantis becomes a meditation, leading naturally toward rest, sleep, and inner tranquility. As you continue to float gently in this meditative space, allow yourself to reflect on the entire journey we have taken together, from the first descent into the deep ocean, through the mysterious echoes of Atlantis, across centuries of human curiosity, an exploration to the careful integration of science and mythweek have traversed both time and imagination. Let each moment settle like fine sediment, layering calmly in the mind. Pause and picture the ocean floor beneath you, vast and quiet. The ruins, whether real or imagined, lie softly beneath layers of sand, coral, and silt. Sonar echoes and sediment core have revealed fragments, glimpses, and patterns. Plato's writings whisper through the currents, legends of wisdom, architecture, and civilization long gone. The stories of human explorers, scientists, and scholars join these echoes, weaving a tapestry that blends inquiry with imagination. Reflect on the rhythm of the narrative itself. The journey began with sensory immersion, the dark blue depths, ethereal light filtering through water, subtle echoes of ancient structures. Curiosity sparked the mind, inviting observation and wonder. Then the forensic hunt guided the intellect, exploring signatures, anomalies, and traces, blending imagination with careful reasoning. Scientific grounding provided a calm anchor, contextualizing the mystery in reality, while debates, discoveries, and philosophical reflection deepened understanding and mindfulness. Pause again, feeling the mind slowing, like the tide retreating to reveal patterns in the sand. The journey itself is part of the meditation, a movement from curiosity to observation, from speculation to reflection, from external exploration to inner calm. Atlantis, whether real, imagined, or symbolic, has served as a vehicle for this meditation, guiding thought with patience and gentle wonder. Now, visualize the lessons we have gathered. First, patience, the ocean, the sediments, and the slow unfolding of evidence remind us that time is vast and understanding is gradual. Second, humility, the universe, the oceans, and the cosmos extend far beyond our perception, and the pursuit of knowledge requires respect for this scale. Third, curiosity, our desire to explore, imagine, and connect with what lies beyond immediate comprehension, is a gift that enriches the mind and nurtures calm. Imagine, too, the interplay of science and imagination. Observations, instruments, and measurements anchor thought in reality, while myths, legends, and speculations spark wonder. Both are essential. Without imagination, discovery is cold and lifeless. Without grounding, imagination may drift untethered. Atlantis teaches the balance of these forces, a meditation in curiosity, reflection, and calm attentiveness. Pause and allow yourself to sense the rhythm of this balance. Each breath mirrors the ocean's pulse. Each heartbeat resonates with the slow movement of tectonic plates and centuries of human thought. Visualize the currents carrying not only sediments and echoes of Atlantis, but also your own awareness, guiding you gently toward rest. The mind floats effortlessly, attuned to patterns, aware of mystery, yet calm and relaxed. Reflect now on the philosophical dimension. Atlantis is more than a city beneath the waves. It is a symbol of human longing, curiosity, and wonder. It represents the tension between the known and unknown, the measured and the imagined, the fleeting and the enduring. In contemplating Atlantis, we contemplate the human spirit, our capacity for imagination, our desire to explore, and our ability to find serenity in the face of mystery. Finally, prepare for the gentle landing. Visualize the ocean's surface shimmering softly, light dancing on calm waters. The ruins of Atlantis, the echoes of human curiosity, and the reflections of centuries settle into quiet patterns. Your mind drifts slowly, gently, like a submersible rising toward light. Each breath carries calm. Each thought becomes a ripple, fading into serenity, and the entire journey transforms into a meditation guiding you into deep relaxation and sleep. Feel the story's final cadence: mystery, curiosity, science, imagination, and reflection all converge into tranquility. Let the rhythm of the ocean, the passage of time, and the whispers of Atlantis lull the mind. You are safe, you are calm, and you are ready to drift into rest. As you hover gently at the threshold between consciousness and dream, let the mind absorb the totality of our journey. From the first immersion into the ocean's depths to the meditative exploration of Atlantis, from scientific discoveries to philosophical reflections, the narrative has unfolded like the gentle tide layer upon layer, revealing fragments of history, imagination, and human curiosity. Pause and feel the calm that arises from knowing that some mysteries remain unresolved. The ocean keeps its secrets. Atlantis may remain hidden, and yet the process of seeking has carried you through centuries of human thought, exploration, and wonder. This uncertainty is not discomforting. It is the rhythm of reflection itself, the gentle cadence guiding you deeper into serenity. Visualize the final image of Atlantis in your mind's eye, not as a definitive city, but as a symbol of possibility. Coral drapes its terraces, sunlight refracts through water, sand and silt soften the edges of structures long submerged. The city appears and dissolves with the ebb of your awareness, a meditation on impermanence, curiosity, and the beauty of the unknown. Consider once more the human spirit reflected in this journey. Atlantis embodies the essence of exploration, the patient pursuit of understanding, the blending of imagination and evidence, the reverence for time and nature. Through it, we see ourselves as seekers, observers, and dreamers, capable of reflection, insight, and deep calm. Even in the absence of absolute answers, we gain wisdom, mindfulness, and serenity. Pause and allow the rhythm of the ocean to guide your thoughts. Feel each breath as a gentle wave, rising and falling in harmony with the currents of time and memory. Let your mind float above the sediments of history, above the whispers of myth, and above the submersible traces of exploration. Each detail, each observation, each reflection now merges into a flowing current of relaxation and insight. Now, bring your awareness to the present moment. Though Atlantis lies in the past, beneath oceans, and in imagination, its lessons ripple into your consciousness. Patience, humility, curiosity, and wonder. These currents carry you gently forward, preparing the mind and body for rest. The act of contemplating, observing, and reflecting has been a meditation in itself, a bridge between alert awareness and deep relaxation. As the journey concludes, visualize yourself drifting through the calm expanse of the ocean, ascending slowly toward the surface. Light filters through softly. The colors shift from deep blues to gentle aquamarines, and the mind softens. All questions, all patterns, all thoughts now merge into gentle stillness. Atlantis remains a whisper, a suggestion, a meditation, a companion in the vastness of time, guiding you toward serenity. Finally, hear these words as a signature closing, carrying both reflection and sleep. This was another story in the endless river of time. May it carry you gently into sleep. Good night, dreamer of ages, and remember, follow the channel to never miss a new journey into hidden worlds beneath the ocean. Feel the sense of completion and calm. The narrative has taken you from the depths of mystery through exploration, grounded inquiry, philosophical reflection, and finally to a gentle landing. Your mind is now at rest, buoyed by curiosity, anchored by understanding, and softened by imagination. Each breath flows with ease, each thought drifts like a calm wave, and the ocean of consciousness is serene. As sleep beckons, allow the story of Atlantis, the currents of history, the echoes of myth, and the reflections of human inquiry to dissolve into tranquility. Your mind floats, your body relaxes, and the gentle rhythm of the ocean guides you into rest, into dreams, into the quiet meditation of night.